George Floyd,
Breonna Taylor,
Ahmaud Arbery, a young African-American man who was shot and killed while on a jog earlier this year.
It is possible for us to build a shared identity that actually centers Black people or centers women.
When I think about a Black strategist, I think about some of the Black women that I worked with on the west side of Atlanta. These Black women who I worked with sitting at kitchen tables deep into the night, knew their community back and forth.
And we still keep showing up. We show up for Breonna Taylor, and we show up for David McAtee right here in Louisville. We showed up for Black Lives Lost to police violence, whose names we will never know. We show up for people who are transgender and murdered by police. And we call people to action.
I appeal to all of you to get in this great revolution that is sweeping this nation. Get in and stay in the streets of every city, every village and hamlet of this nation until true freedom comes, until the revolution of 1776 is complete. We must get in this revolution and complete the revolution. For in the Delta of Mississippi.
We feel like we need to create more pathways to develop and support and nurture more Black workers and Black strategists, particularly those who may not be in leadership yet, but are, on a path to try to get that job and on a path to build, to provide leadership in this moment.
What is ABSI? Advancing Black Strategist Initiative. It's a very timely, I would say, convening of, as Smiley said, Black labor and economic justice leaders from academia, but practitioners, policymakers, workers, students, right? Bringing us all together to create a new school of thought, right? With respect to how do we confront racial oppression, but also how do we dismantle it, right? And what should go in its place? Revolution is one thing, right? Uprisings are one thing, governing is a separate thing, right? So when you have a shock against an oppressive racial system, the question becomes, what do you put in that vacuum? What does justice look like? Are we at a critical moment where we can shift from surviving to thriving because we've brought true justice into this space, right? So arguably we are at this critical juncture now. This is the accumulation of Black movement, right? From the first slave rebellion to now that has opened up an aperture, cracked the window a little bit. And so the question is, why did we crack the window? Is it just so we can breathe? Right? And we want to maintain these white dominated institutions that were created for white supremacy to thrive? Or are we going to open this window all the way up, step out into some freedom of racial oppression? And what does that look like? Is it even possible? Have we come close to it before, right? So those are the big issues for which this initiative was assembled. And so what is